agreeing with his assessment that Merrill culture needed to toughening up over time. However, his relationship with O'Neill got testier, especially as O'Neill became more insulated. After the Blackrock deal, the journal wrote an article Fleming's role, although O'Neill's was quoted in it. Fleming got a strong sense that O'Neill resented the fact that he had got the publicity. Also, unlike most of the executives, O'Neill surrounded himself with after a fiery Patrick. Fleming was willing to speak his mind, although Fleming had perfect pitch when it came to knowing just how far he could push O'Neill's. Unlike his peers in the executive suite, he did push. For instance, O'Neill's um, desperately wanted to buy a mortgage originator, which many of Merrill's competitors used to supply them with the raw material for mortgage-backed securities and CDOs. Fleming had successfully prevented Merrill from buying New Century, a company that would turn out to be one of the worst of the subprime lenders, and which Merrill had come within a year of buying, according to one former executive. Fleming was the executive on O'Neill's side he could no longer have dinner with because it was no point too painful to hear Fleming disagree with him. And one other thing, Fleming had a close relationship with Jeff Kronthal as one of O'Neill's top devotees. Fleming had got early word of the firing. He couldn't believe it. Kronthal wasn't just a good trader, he was probably the best trader Merrill had. He had been around mortgage-backed securities his whole career, going back to Salomon Brothers and Leo Rainer. He was deeply loyal to Merrill, where he had worked for 17 years, though he didn't have the title. He was clearly the head of trading of Merrill Lynch. Fleming's first intention was to try to get the decision reserved. He asked O'Neill to move Kronthal and his team to Fleming's jurisdiction and let him continue to run the credit desk. After thinking it over, O'Neill said no. Fleming recalls an early morning phone call from O'Neill in which he told Fleming he needed to play ball. When Fleming asked O'Neill why Kronthal had to be fired, O'Neill replied, "You don't understand. This function is good on Wall Street." Don Kim told Fleming that under two circumstances was he to give Kronthal advantage were that he was being let go. That was Kim's job, and he would be doing it soon enough. It was the middle of July 2006. Fleming and his wife were in London when they were out shopping one day. Fleming's cell phone began ringing and ringing. It was Kronthal. At first Fleming ignored the calls, but as they kept coming his wife asked him what was going. When he told her, she urged him to stop taking the calls and talk to his friend. Kronthal told Fleming he was hearing rumors that he and Talk Many of Merrill's veteran traders were all going to be fired. Fleming, Hammond, and Howard, but by the end of their long, argued theory conversations, Corontal knew that his rumors were true. Fleming didn't speak to O'Neill for a month and a half. The ice was broken only when O'Neill pleaded with Fleming not to leave the firm, something he had been completing. Fleming did stay. In fact, he stayed right throughout the financial crisis, became Merrill's president along the way, and brokering the deal Merrill got with Bank of America on the infamous Lehman weekend in middle September 2008, but the Grontal fearing was something he never stopped thinking about, not only because it betrayed a lack of basic human dignity, as Fleming would later put it, and not only because it was so unnecessary to Fleming that July Day in 2006, when Crontal and his team were fired, was the day Merrill Lynch fate was sealed. Yes, Fleming knew he was biased, but given what later happened, it seemed irrefutable. Prior to that day, Merrill will have avoided the subprime problems what could soon bring Wall Street to its knees. After that date, Merrill was doomed to make the same mistakes as most of its competitors. It was one of the dumbest, most big-ticked-up decisions I have ever seen, Fleming would later say, and he was right.